Have you ever imagined why sometimes some people achieve all their targets while some don't? Have you ever wondered why some people do things wholeheartedly while some do things superficially? Why do you think some people achieve whatever their hands land on while some fail at almost everything? In your wildest imaginations, have you ever wondered why some people's lives are full of mediocrity while some people live extraordinarily? How useful is a life lived with mediocrity? Where is the wisdom of the man who sets out to live averagely? Aware that we don't have eternity to live on earth, isn't it wise to maximize every opportunity one encounters in life? Why is the world in many ways full of mediocrity, superficiality, and foolishness? Well, it was the great American essayist, lecturer, philosopher, abolitionist, and poet, Ralph Waldo Emerson, who wisely said, "If a man can write a better book, preach a better sermon, or make a better mousetrap than his neighbors, though he builds his house in the woods, the world will make a beaten path to his door." What a statement. This is perhaps one of the most powerful, life-changing, eye-opening, and soul-awakening statements ever made. No one will ignore you as long as you are good at what you do. No one masters his craft without pursuing it with all their might. Questions: what are the things you do? How do you do them? How good are you at what you do? Do you do what you do wholeheartedly or superficially? Do you do what you do with mediocrity? What is your craft? How are you mastering it? How are you pursuing it? Well, we were all born to solve problems in the world, in our generations. In the problems we are meant to solve, we find our relevance. Your relevance to humanity depends on the problems you solve. The more problems you solve, the more relevant you are to humanity. What then do you have to offer to humanity? What are you pregnant with? What are you carrying on the inside that you should release for humanity? What problems have you identified that you must solve with what you're carrying on the inside? What solutions are you providing to humanity? The world is looking for those with solutions. The world will look for you as long as you can provide solutions to the problems humanity faces. People will look for you not for your own sake, but for the solutions you provide to the problems they face. When you go to a shop, you don't do so because you love the shopkeeper. You go because what you want is in the shop. When you go to see a doctor, you don't do so because you love the doctor, but because the doctor can treat your conditions. You don't go to a school because you love the teachers. You go because they can offer what you want. You don't need to love the one who has the solutions to your problems for you to go to them. You just need to know they have the solutions and you will willingly go to them. Since everyone was created to solve problems, everyone has a niche in the world. There is a place you are supposed to occupy in the world. Have you occupied your place? Many people live their entire lives without ever occupying their niches. Accordingly, they don't do for humanity what they were supposed to do. This is robbing humanity of what they are supposed to deposit on earth. Sitting on your potential instead of using it to serve humanity is a great injustice to humanity. In fact, it is one of the greatest crimes against humanity. Hidden inside everyone is a great potential with which they should solve numerous problems in the world. The potential must first be discovered to be maximized. When you don't know your potential, you will waste it. You are created to fulfill a purpose with your potential in your lifetime. When you don't discover your life's purpose, then you will never fulfill it. You cannot maximize your potential when in the wrong position. You have to be in the place meant for you to maximize your potential and fulfill your life's purpose. What is your niche? Have you found it? Have you occupied it? What are you doing in it? Are you maximizing the opportunities in your niche? Well, today we are reading only one verse. One verse. verse 10 of chapter 9 of the book of Ecclesiastes. Listen carefully, thoughtfully, and critically. It's a verse you must have read before, but I want you to give it your utmost attention today. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10. What a verse. It reads, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead where you're going, there is neither working, no planning, no knowledge, no wisdom. Wow. What a verse. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead where you're going, there is neither working, no planning, no knowledge, no wisdom. Wow. I love this verse. Let's break it down. The verse has three critical parts. It covers the what, the how, and the why. It defines what we must do, how we must do it, and why we must do it. What must you do? Whatever your hand finds to do. How must you do it? With all your might. Why must you do it? For in the realm of the dead where you are going, there is neither working, no planning, no knowledge, no wisdom. Wow. The what, the how, and the why. Now, what is the starting point? Where do you begin from? From right where you are. What do you begin with? With what you have. When you are starting any journey, you always start right where you are with what you have. Questions. Where are you in life? What do you have at your disposal? How are you utilizing what you have? Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead where you're going, there is neither working, no planning, no knowledge, no wisdom, says the Bible in Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10. Notice the adverb whatever in the verse. The verse says whatever, not just what. Now, I want you to do a little research on the meanings of what and whatever. Whatever we do, we must do it with all our might. Whether it is the visitation of the poorest of the poor, or teaching of the most ignorant, whether it is the hewing of the wood, or drawing of water, or doing what you may consider to be the very lowest work in the Lord's house. If your hand finds it to do it with all your might. You will receive your reward in full measure. Many of us must have heard of George Washington, the first president of the United States. I once read an interesting story about this man, and I was shocked. One rainy day during the American Revolutionary War, George Washington rode up to a group of soldiers attempting to raise a wooden beam to a high position. The corporal in charge was shouting encouragement, but the soldiers could not get the beam in their position. After watching that lack of success, Washington asked the corporal why he did not join in and help the soldiers. To which the corporal, not realizing whom he was talking with, replied, "Don't you realize that I am the corporal?" Very politely, George Washington replied, "I beg your pardon, Mr. Corporal." Washington dismounted his horse and went to work with the soldiers to get the oak beam in the position required. As they finished, Washington wiped the sweat from his face and then said, "If you should need help again, call on Washington, your commander-in-chief, and I will come." The corporal slunk away perfectly ashamed of himself after realizing that he was talking with the president, after seeing that the president himself joined the soldiers to put the beam in the desired position. What a story. What does this story mean to you? What do you make of it? What sense does it carry? The corporal did not like to help his soldiers. His commander-in-chief went so low and humbly helped the soldiers, to the surprise of the proud corporal. We should have the attitude of the commander-in-chief, George Washington, not that of the corporal, who was so proud. When God gives us work to do with any kind of his people, we should not be too proud to do it. We should be willing to serve everyone God calls us to serve. And we must serve them with all our might. Otherwise, our commander-in-chief will serve them himself. If we feel doing something is beneath our dignity, we'll be shocked when our commander-in-chief does it himself. He can teach the poor. He can wash the feet of both sinners and saints. He can visit the sick and afflicted. He will not despise anyone. He will serve his people without discrimination. He came from heaven and did this. And he has set the example for us to follow. Shall we genuinely walk in his footsteps? Shall we serve the societal outcasts without discrimination? Shall we feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and house the orphans? What shall we do with the sick? How shall we handle the prisoners? What will we do with the widows and widowers? Shall we speak hope into the lives of those living in despair? Shall we speak life into the lives of other people? Shall we comfort the dying as well as those who have lost their loved ones? Shall we stand with those going through tough times? Shall we journey through life with other people without discrimination whatsoever? Whatever it is, be it great or little, if our master assigns us to do it, we must do it with all our might. Many of us should know about the Red Cross movement or Red Cross Society for those from predominantly Christian countries, while those from Muslim countries should know about the Red Crescent movement or society. But do we really know how the Red Cross was founded? When I was a very young boy in primary school, I read the story of the Swiss humanitarian businessman and social activist Henry Dunant, one of the founders of the International Red Cross movement. Read about this man, Henry Dunant, who had a great heart for humanity. His name is synonymous with humanity. I read how his humanitarian spirit led to the founding of the Red Cross Society, and I was deeply touched. I decided to work with the Red Cross as a young boy. I went to the office of the Uganda Red Cross Society in my hometown and met the manager. I told him I wanted to work with the Red Cross Society because I'd been inspired by the story of the founder. He gladly admitted me as a volunteer, and I became the youngest volunteer ever at that branch. That was the best day of my life until that time. I was driven by my deep passion and desire to serve humanity. I always looked for opportunities to serve humanity. When I learn on them, I seize them. Sometimes where they don't exist, I create them and then serve humanity with all my might. So while volunteering with the Uganda Red Cross Society, we used to go to many places and meet different kinds of people and serve them. At that time, northern Uganda was going through a war that lasted over 2 decades. We went to schools, hospitals, prisons, and communities, among others. We went to a hospital one day to visit the patients. We took to them some items like foodstuff, soap, bathings, and many other things. I noticed that some of the people on the team were very arrogant as they were treating the patients. There was a particular woman, actually one of the team leaders, who was shouting at the patients when we were at the maternity ward. I took her aside and asked her why she was so mean to the patients, yet we went there to console them. She became so mad at me, up to the point of slapping me. I then went back and continued distributing the items to the women in the maternity ward. As I consoled the patients at the hospital, I was moved by their conditions. I only wished I could do more for them. We went to prisons on many occasions. On one occasion, I gave the prisoners a message of hope. It was very risky to go to the prison at that time because of many critical factors. But I just felt the deep urge to go to the prison. I had the feeling that I had a message for the prisoners. My message of hope was well received by the prisoners. Many of them cried as I spoke with them. I was a young boy of about 10 years old. Imagine old men and women crying as they are consoled by a boy of 10. Well, something great was happening in my life. The lady who shouted at the patient surely did not do the work wholeheartedly. She had an ulterior motive. She was motivated by personal interest rather than humanitarian interest. What difference would she have made had she handled the patients with love, care, and humility? Those who are motivated by personal interest do things selfishly to meet their interests, while those who are motivated by humanitarian interest do things to meet the interests of humanity. The people who colossally transform the world are those who have humanity at heart. They sacrifice their interests for the interests of humanity. They do things for the common good of humanity. When they see everyone, they see humanity. They don't just see their tribe mates or countrymen. What do you see in people from different parts of the world? Do you see the humanity in everyone? If you don't see the humanity in everyone, then there's a problem. Do you have a heart for humanity? Whatsoever your hand finds to do, do it promptly. No man ever served God by doing things tomorrow. If we have honored Christ and are blessed, it is by the things we do today. We have no other time in which to live. The past is gone. The future is yet to come. We never shall have anything but the present. This is our all. Let us do what our hands find to do and do it with all our might. I love this very powerful proverb that says, procrastination is the thief of time. Truly, truly, I say unto you, procrastination is the thief of time. Let it not steal your precious time. Guard against procrastination jealously. Do something promptly. Serve your God now. For now is all the time you have. Let us redeem the time, for the days are evil, as advised by Apostle Paul in Ephesians chapter 5 verse 16. Whatever you do for Christ, throw your whole soul into it. We must not give Christ just a little slight labor, which is done as a matter of course now and then. But when we do serve him, we must do it with all our heart, soul, strength, and might. Serve the master and spend yourself in your strength. But where is the might of a child of God? The might of a child of God is not in himself, for he is perfect weakness. The might of the child of God lies in the Lord of hosts. It will be well for us if all we attempt to do is done in God's strength, or else it will not be done with all of our might. It will be feebly and badly done. We are to do everything with all our might because death is near. And when death comes, there will be an end to all our serving God on earth. When death comes, there will be an end to our preaching. When death comes, there will be an end to our praying. When death comes, there will be an end to our doing everything for God's glory among the perishing souls of men. The story is told of a great painter who had begun a painting but died before finishing it. He prayed that he might come back on earth and finish the painting. He was permitted to come back and finish the painting. When he came back, he painted with all his might, for he had but little time allowed him. He did not procrastinate, for he knew that he must soon go back again. Therefore, he wanted this work to be finished before he could go back. And he finished the painting. Unlike the painter, if we die, we will not come back to finish our painting if we don't finish it before we die. How are you doing your painting? When your time comes to go, will you finish the work? Will you leave the painting finished and therefore go fulfilled, or leave it unfinished and wish you had more time to finish it? The time we have is enough for us to finish our respective paintings, if only we maximize the time. Unfortunately, many people are wasting time thinking they have a lot of time. Yet we are in a race against time. May you maximize your time and finish your painting. Your lifetime, if you maximize it, is enough to fulfill your life's purpose. Will you maximize your lifetime? Will you fulfill your life's purpose in your lifetime? What would you do if you knew when you would die? If you are quite sure of the time of your death, if you knew you had but a week or two to live, with what haste would you go around and bid farewell to all your friends and loved ones? With what haste would you begin to set all matters right on earth for eternity? With what haste would you do your task? Whatever your hand finds to do, do it promptly and with all your might. We are accountable to God who has assigned us divine duties to carry out on earth during our lifetimes. Therefore, we must carry our duties with utmost diligence. There are two kinds of factors that we all face in life. There are factors that are within our control and those that are beyond our control. Accordingly, there are things that you can do and there are things that you cannot do. Always take care of all the factors that are within your control by doing all the things you can do at any particular time. Always do your best in every situation. Oftentimes we hear people say, I have done my best. I did my best. That's the best I could do. Ask them one question. What is your best? And you'll be amazed by how many of them don't even know what their best is. The question is, what is your best? When has someone done their best? What does it mean to do your best? You haven't done your best until you have taken care of all the factors that are within your control at a particular time. You have done your best when you have left no stone unturned while doing all you are supposed to do at a particular time. In every situation in life, we need to do the best we can. Although we may not have total control of our fate, we should not just sit down and not do anything and allow fate to rule our lives. Never live your life to fate. Never let fate determine your fate. Never let fate determine the circumstances of your life. Why let fate determine your fate? Why? Why do something in a mediocre way? What wisdom is there in doing things superficially? Is in life a serious business? Why joke with life? Why not do everything wholeheartedly because you may never have the precious opportunity to do it again? There is someone right now on life support, unable to do anything. Somebody is breathing right now with the help of machines. There is someone somewhere right now who is crippled by his conditions and cannot function normally. There is someone right now who is praying for the very opportunities you have right now. Why blow your opportunities away? Why blow away your chances to do wonders? Why play with the opportunities you have? You are breathing now without any aid, yet many people are being aided to breathe. Maximize every opportunity you encounter in life, for you may never encounter it again. In my language, we have a wisdom pregnant proverb that says, Olam mamit pechiat girio. Olam mamit pechiat girio. It literally means, the sweet vine never ripens twice. It's akin to the English proverb, an opportunity never knocks twice. There are opportunities you will encounter only once in your lifetime. If you don't seize them, you will miss them forever. Be vigilant so that you don't miss an opportunity of a lifetime. Many people will never have the opportunities you have. Maximize the opportunities you have. Many people will never have them. Live every day ultimately, for it will never come again. You have never lived this day before, and you will never live it again once it is gone. Therefore, make the most of it by doing all that you can do today. Value every opportunity you encounter. No opportunity is worthless. What you consider worthless is everything to other people. You may not see the value of something until you lose it. Sometimes we realize how valuable something is after we have lost it. The wise understand the value of something and make the most of it. They don't joke with an opportunity. Sometimes a small opportunity can be the gateway to the big opportunity you desire. Sometimes the smallest opportunity can be the door to the biggest opportunity you want. Never waste an opportunity. Never play with an opportunity. Never look down on any opportunity. Go after opportunities with all your might. In life, don't wait for opportunities to find you. Go for them. The smallest opportunity can be the gateway to the biggest opportunity of your life. Joke not with an opportunity. Play not with an opportunity. Despise not an opportunity. The wise say, if it is worth doing, it is worth doing right. Add to that, if it is worth doing, it is worth giving your very best. Some people have a way of rationalizing mediocre work because people in today's culture are plagued by a sense of entitlement. The thinking is that unless you give me this much reward, I will only give you this much effort. But that is not the way God intended his people to operate. Rather, just like God, we should seek to be excellent in our efforts, trusting God for the results. In his classical poem, Invictus, the Victorian era British poet William Ernest Henley wrote that I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. I love that statement. What a powerful statement. You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. You are the pilot of your plane. Don't live as if someone else were responsible for your fate. Take complete responsibility for your life. Your destiny is in your hands. Your future is in your hands. Your prosperity is in your hands. Through the choices you make and the actions you take in every situation, you define your destiny, future, and prosperity. I am normally amazed by those who live their lives recklessly, as if they borrowed their lives from other people. This is not only weird but also unfortunate. Why disgrace humanity? Why let down humanity? Why commit a crime against humanity? You owe humanity your fruits. Therefore, you have obligations to meet. You have to bear your fruits for humanity to enjoy. You have to maximize your gifts, talents, and potential as you strive to fulfill your life's purpose. You will then bear as many fruits as possible. You don't live forever. Therefore, live your life to the fullest today, knowing that you don't have forever to live. Maximize every opportunity you come across. Blessed are you if you do everything with all your might. We must do our part to the best of our ability in whatever life has to offer. The emphasis is whatever state you find yourself in, do the best you can with it. Do not give excuses. There is no better time to do things with all your might than the time at your disposal. We need to give the Lord's work our best shot because it won't be long until there will come a time when we will be unable to do anything. Make hay while the sun shines, goes the popular English proverb. While the sun is shining, make hay. Behold, the night will come and you won't be able to make hay. While it is the day, do all that you're supposed to do. Behold, the night will come when you won't be able to do what you can do only during the day. When it is the wet season, do what you must do. Behold, the dry season will soon come and you won't be able to do what you can only do during the wet season. While you are a youth, do all you must do, for old age will come and you won't be able to do what you can do only when you are a youth. Whatever you can do at a particular time, do it with all your might, for time will come when you won't be able to do it. In the book of John chapter 9 verse 4, our Master and Lord Jesus Christ said, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night comes when no man can work. Certain things can be done only during the day. Night comes when you cannot do them. Therefore, if you don't do them during the day, they will never be done. This is common knowledge. The wise do during the day the things that must be done during the day, for they know that at night they won't be able to do them. The foolish, however, don't do the things they're supposed to do during the day. They think they will do them at night. Behold, the night comes and takes them by surprise, and they realize that they cannot do the things that they should have done during the day. Hence, they never do them. Consequently, they miss the results they were supposed to get. The actually my people say, Arum burukej ikombonyo. It's a very powerful proverb, full of wisdom. Arum burukej ikombonyo. It literally means, the hornbill sleeps hungry in the presence of the locust. The hornbill sleeps hungry in the presence of the locust. Arum is a kind of bird called the hornbill. It eats the locust, bonyo. The problem is that when there is still plenty of locust, the hornbill relaxes, thinking that the locust will last. When it finally begins to eat, the locusts soon fly away, leaving it hungry. During the day, when the hornbill can see the locust, it relaxes to eat, thinking the locust will be there for good. Soon evening comes, and the hornbill cannot see the locusts, even when they are there. Consequently, the hornbill sleeps hungry in the presence of the locust. Arum burukechi kombonyo, what a proverb. The hornbill sleeps hungry in the presence of the locust. During the day, when the locust can be seen, the hornbill does not eat. Until the evening comes, when the hornbill can no longer see the locust. And it goes to sleep on an empty stomach in the presence of the locust. That is foolishness. Many locusts will come into your life. If you don't catch them when they last, when you can still see them, you will never catch them again. If you don't catch the locust during the day, you will sleep hungry at night. Never be like the hornbill. Catch your locusts while you still can. For time will come when you won't be able to catch them, even if they will be present. If you don't do what you should do as a youth, you will sleep hungry as an adult. A foolish youth will be a foolish adult. I love this African proverb that says, where you sit as an adult shows where you stood as a youth. Wow. Where you sit as an adult shows where you stood as a youth. Questions: where are you standing today as a youth? Where will you sit tomorrow in adulthood? Are you planning for where you will sit tomorrow? Plan today as a youth for where you will sit tomorrow as an adult. Do not wait to first become an adult to start running around looking for what to do, for it may then be too late for you. You will be like the foolish hornbill. You will sleep hungry in the presence of the locust. There are things that you can do today, but you won't be able to do them tomorrow. That is why the Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 1 that remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come and the years approach when you will say, I find no pleasure in them. Many people have many regrets on their deathbeds. Many wish they did what they didn't do. Many wish they did what they did better than they did it. Many wish they lived better than they lived. What will you say at the point of your death? Will you wish you lived a different life? Will you wish you never did some of the things you did? Will you wish you did certain things better than you did them? What will you regret in your last moments on earth? What are you doing with your life now? As a youth, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your youth? As an adult, how are you spending your adulthood? As a child, what are you doing with your childhood? Tomorrow, won't you regret the life you're living today? In your old age, will you be proud of the life you are living today as a child or youth? As an adult tomorrow, will you look back and be grateful and proud of the life you are living today as a young person? What kind of life are you living today? Are you really proud of it? Would you recommend other people to live that life? Why or why not? If your life was secretly recorded into a movie, would you proudly watch that movie and recommend it to other people? Why or why not? If the details of your life was secretly written into a book, would you ever proudly read that book and recommend it to other people? Why or why not? What if your life was secretly recorded into a song? Would you happily listen to the song and recommend it to other people? Why or why not? Check your life and make the necessary adjustments accordingly. Do all that you must do today, because tomorrow has its own obligations. Tomorrow is promised to no one. Tomorrow might be too late, for you may not be able to do what you're supposed to do today. if you don't do it today. Tomorrow you may even be dead altogether. Who knows what tomorrow brings? Who knows what will happen between now and tomorrow? You cannot afford to leave certain things undone when they're supposed to be done today, thinking you will do them tomorrow. Are you really doing everything with all your might? You should not just pick out the things that you're best at and give it your all and leave everything else alone. You must do everything, including even those that you're not good at. Whatever your hand finds to do, you must do it with all your might. Many people have spent their entire lives searching for a talent to refine. They wait to accidentally find out their talents. Many of them end up waiting in vain. That's very terrible and unfortunate. They end up living lives of no service to both God and humanity. What if we do with all of our might that which we find to do? Would that settle the talent hunt? Wouldn't we become more fruitful and useful to both God and humanity? It's a beautiful thing to discover our gifts and talents, develop them and use them to serve God and humanity. However, as we strive to discover our talents and gifts, we must do with all of our might whatever our hands find to do. Sometimes we discover our potential, passions, gifts and talents as we do with all our might whatever our hands find to do. Are you doing everything with all your might? Be careful not to overlook opportunities to serve while looking for your potential, talents, passions and gifts. Be careful not to miss the forest for the trees. Be careful not to be lazy, for you will miss your targets. Be careful not to despise anything your hand finds to do, for it could be the gateway to your destiny. Only by the dignity of labor can man rise to the true level of manhood. Only by using the hand as the instrument of human industry and toil can he fulfill his mission. We are urged to work while we have the opportunity. For a time comes when we cannot do certain things. The opportunity is transient and will soon be gone. When once allowed to sleep, it will never come again in the same form. The greatest sorrow possible to a man at the close of life is to realize that he has done nothing worth the doing. That his life is worse than a failure, and that the record of so many years does not include any service which has enriched his nature and prepared him for a higher and nobler service. Oh my God. There is work to do in the vineyard of the Lord. What a privilege it is to serve in the vineyard of the Lord. What a blessing it is to serve in the vineyard of the Lord. What an honor it is to serve in the vineyard of the Lord. What is your work? What are you doing in the vineyard of the Lord? What is your role in the vineyard of the Lord? If the service, therefore, that we have to render is a divine service or is a human response to a divine claim, then how noble does all labor appear? Now, if you and I could only master this one truth, all our grumblings at the hardness of work would vanish. And we should forever cease to talk about our self-denials and limitations. We would use great diligence and industry about that which is our proper work and business in this life. We would live in sincerity, love, and obedience to God by the conformity of our lives and actions to His laws. We would live in genuine repentance for our sins and timely care to be reconciled to God. We would serve with utmost diligence in all sessions to which God appoints us, whether it consists in the labor of our hands, or the improvement of our minds, or the gaining of knowledge for our own pleasure and satisfaction, and the use and benefit of others, whether it lies in the skill of government and the administration of public service, or in the management of a great estate, or in the management of an honorable rank and quality above others, to the best advantage for the honor of God and the benefit and advantage of men, so as by the influence of our power and estate, and by the authority of our example, to contribute all we can to the welfare and happiness of others. When we come to die, nothing will yield more true and solid consolation to us than the remembrance of a useful, fruitful, and well-spent life. A life of great honor, labor, and diligence. A life of great zeal. A life of great faithfulness in the service of God. And ultimately, a life of fulfillment of purpose. On the contrary, With what grief, disappointment, and regret shall we look back upon all these precious hours which we have so fondly misplaced in sin and vanity? This life is the time of our activity and working. The next is the season of retribution and recompense. We shall then have nothing to do but either to reap and enjoy the comfort of well-doing, or to regret the folly of an ill-spent life and the irreparable mischief which thereby we will have brought upon ourselves. We must understand our responsibilities and roles and fulfill them diligently while we are still able to do so. Where there is an opportunity, there is a responsibility. We have been given a precious opportunity to perform the work that has been set before us by the Master. The onus is on us to maximize that opportunity by doing everything with all our might. The question is, will we do everything with all our might? Whatever our hands find to do in God's kingdom, we should seek to perform those duties to the best of our abilities instead of looking for escape routes. We should not shy away from our responsibilities in the kingdom of God. Some people want to first become specialists at something to do it. The fact is, while you strive to become a specialist, there are things that you can do. Do all of them with all your might. You will be amazed by the results. Before you claim that you cannot do certain things, have you done what you can do? Have you exhausted all the available options? Have you explored all the possible means of doing those things? Many people quit too early without exhausting all possibilities. They end up missing their targets. Some people give up at the 9th attempt when they're destined to succeed at the 10th attempt. Be careful so that you don't quit and miss your targets, yet you could be so close to achieving them. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. What a statement. That is one of the most powerful philosophies of a successful life. On May 10th, 1940, Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill became the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. In his first speech as the Prime Minister to the House of Commons on the 13th of May, 1940, Churchill said, "I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat." Ha! What a statement. It was the first year of the Second World War. Churchill went on to lead Britain from the brink of defeat to victory in the Second World War. I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. What a statement. Only the man who has set out to pursue a course with all his might can make such a statement. Questions. What targets are you chasing? What are you offering to achieve those targets? What will you sacrifice to get what you want? If you offer something, you get something. If you offer nothing, you get nothing. What are you offering to achieve your targets? What do you have to offer as you pursue your divine assignment? What do you have to offer as you serve in the vineyard of the Lord? Behold, the Lord offered himself to redeem us. What will you offer him in return? He offered his all for us. In turn, he deserves our all. Will you offer him your all? Will you offer your all to serve the one who offered his all for us? On the 23rd of April, 1910, the 26th President of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt, delivered an electrifying speech at the Sorbonne in Paris, France. He had left office in March 1909. The speech is titled Citizenship in a Republic. It's undoubtedly one of the greatest speeches in history. In the speech, Roosevelt made a statement that the whole world must pay attention to. Everyone who desires to be successful must pay utmost attention to the statement. Here's the statement he made. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls, who neither know victory nor defeat. What a statement. Take time and meditate on the statement. I implore you to look for the entire speech and read it religiously, word by word, sentence by sentence, and paragraph by paragraph. The speech is titled Citizenship in a Republic. Look for it and go over it critically, analytically, and religiously. The credit belongs to the man in the arena. The credit does not belong to the man in the comfort zone. Are you in the arena or comfort zone? If you must maximize your life, then you must be in the arena. You cannot do anything worthwhile while in the comfort zone. You cannot leave any viable footprint on earth if you spend your life in the comfort zone. You cannot bear fruits for humanity when you operate from your comfort zone. The people who enormously changed the world lived their lives far away from the comfort zones. They were in the arena. You cannot do wonders for both God and humanity when operating from the comfort zone. Wonders are done by those who are in the arena. Are you in the arena? Do you ever dream of changing the world? Do you desire to make a difference in the world? Do you want to make the world better than what it is right now? Well, stay as far away as possible from the comfort zone then, and be in the arena. You cannot change the world from the comfort zone. You cannot make a difference in the world from the comfort zone. You cannot serve God and humanity from the comfort zone. You cannot do anything worthwhile from the comfort zone. The credit belongs to the man in the arena. The crown belongs to the man in the arena. The honor belongs to the man in the arena. Are you in the arena? No page of history has any information on anyone who has ever done anything worthwhile for humanity from the comfort zone. Tomorrow, when other people turn the pages of history, what will they find written about you? What will be written about you will show whether you spent your life in the arena or the comfort zone. You write your history through the things you do every moment of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year of your life. Colossal history is written from the arena. No one writes any worthwhile history from the comfort zone. Question: are you in the arena or comfort zone? As you strive to do something with all your might, many people will criticize you. Many people will belittle you. Many people will look down on you. Many people will think you are not worthy. Many people will think you are not qualified. But remember, it is not the critics who count. The credit belongs to the man in the arena. Just remain focused on the task at hand. Know and understand the task properly and keep focus on them. Do not waste time on the critics, for they don't count. What you want is ahead of you. Set your eyes on it. The prize you are striving for is ahead of you. Focus on it. The crown you want is ahead of you. Concentrate on it. Don't run aimlessly. Set your eyes on the prize before you. Behold, the crown belongs to he that finishes the race, not the one who stops on the way. Press on until you finish your race and service in the vineyard of the Lord. You will receive your crown accordingly. Listen not to the critics. Focus not on the critics. Set your eyes not on the critics. They are not the ones to qualify you to do that which you are supposed to do. Man cannot disqualify he that God has qualified. When God has qualified you to do something, no man can disqualify you. Therefore, you must know that which God has qualified you to do in his vineyard and concentrate on it with all your might without allowing the critics to derail your progress. If you focus on the critics, you will never do what you're supposed to do. If you set your eyes on the critics, you will never complete your assignment. If you concentrate on the critics, you will never finish your race. Imagine how many people spend their entire lifetimes concentrating on their critics. They end up living worthless lives. If you focus on the critics, you will live a worthless life. If you focus on the critics, you will never serve humanity with all your might. If you focus on the critics, you will never serve God with all your might. If you focus on the critics, you will live a frustrating, disappointing, and unfulfilling life. It is not the critics who count. The great Greek writer, fabulist, and storyteller Aesop told one of the most powerful stories of all time. The story is found in the book Fables of Aesop, which is a collection of Aesop stories. May you look for that book and read it. It will transform your life. The story which is of interest to us is titled The Man, the Boy, and the Donkey. It is full of countless lessons that we must mine. May you mine all the lessons from the story and apply the lessons correctly in your life. The story goes like this. A man and his son were once going with that donkey to the market. As they were walking along by his side, a countryman passed them and said, "You fools, what is a donkey for but to ride upon?" So the men put the boy on the donkey and they went on their way. But soon they passed a group of men, one of whom said, "See that lazy youngster, he lets his father walk while he rides." So the men ordered his boy to get off, and he got on the donkey himself. But they did not go far when they met two women, one of whom said to the other, "Shame on that lazy lout to let his poor little son trudge along while he rides on the donkey." Well, the man did not know what to do, but at last he took his boy up before him on the donkey, and both of them were on the donkey. By this time, they had come to the town, and the passers-by began to jeer and point at them. The man stopped and asked what they were scoffing at. The men said, "Aren't you ashamed of yourself for overloading that poor donkey of yours, you and your huckling son?" The man and the boy got off the donkey and tried to think what to do. They thought and they thought until at last they cut down a pole, tied the donkey's feet to it, and raised the pole and the donkey to their shoulders. They went along amid the laughter of all who met them until they came to a bridge where the donkey, getting one of his feet loose, kicked out and caused the boy to drop his end of the pole. In the struggle, the donkey fell off the bridge, and its forefoot being tied together, it was drowned. What a powerful story. What does the story mean to you? What lessons do you learn from it? What wisdom does it carry? The moral of the story is straightforward. Set out to please everybody, and you will please no one. Set out to listen to the critics, and you will never achieve your targets. Pay attention to the critics, and you will never reach your destination. Focus on the critics, and you will never be in charge of your life, for they will control your life, and you will be their slave. A sure way to fail in life is to set out to live according to the demands of other people. A sure way to miss your targets is to set out to observe the standards set for you by other people. A sure way to fail in life is to do things just to please other people. You can please some people sometimes. You can please some people every time. But you can never please everyone every time. Never forget that. No one in his right mind consciously plans to fail. I've never met anyone who consciously plans to fail. Yet many people fail in life because they pay attention to their critics. They pay more attention to their critics than their targets. That's unfortunate. May you never be one of such people. Sir Winston Churchill was right when he said, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." Not every barking dog deserves your attention. Only your tasks and goals deserve your utmost attention. Every time you're focusing on your critics, you take that time away from your goals and targets. Accordingly, your chances of failing increase. How do you treat your critics? How do you respond to your critics? How do you handle your critics? Never allow your critics to deter you from pursuing your targets with all your might. There was once an exceptionally wise student who was severely discouraged, criticized, and looked down upon by his mathematics teacher. The student went on to fail the subject miserably. He was not dull, but the teacher did not bring out the best in him because he looked down on him and consequently discouraged him from concentrating on the subject. The following year, the teacher was transferred to another school. He was replaced by another teacher. The boy was the best student in mathematics throughout the year. The new teacher always encouraged him to do better. He brought out the best in the boy. May we learn from this teacher and encourage one another to bring out the best in them. May we not discourage other people. Some people are already very weak. Any careless word of discouragement can make them fail miserably. Let's bring out the best in other people, including even those who are weak. One can be weak in an area, but strong in another area. In life, no one is either weak or strong in all areas. One can be a victim in an area, but a victor in another area. No one is either a victim or a victor in all areas in life. We are all victims and victors in many areas. We are all strong in some areas and weak in other areas. That is why we all need encouragement, support, and complement. We need to complement and hence complete one another. Where I am weak and you are strong, complement me. Where you are weak and I'm strong, I should complement you. That is how life is supposed to be. Where we are both weak, we should both seek help from those who can help us. Let us not be the reason why other people fail. Instead, let us be the reason they succeed. We should be proud and happy when other people succeed because of us. We should not rejoice when other people fail. You may not be able to achieve something yourself, but you can help other people to achieve it. May your heart be clean so that you help other people to achieve what you may never achieve yourself. That's how we should live as we serve in the vineyard of our Master. Watch out for how you deal with people. Watch out for how you handle people. Watch out for how you treat people. Be the reason they carry their task with all their might. Be the bright star that shines in their lives. Be the light in their lives. Be the ladder through which they will reach the top. Be the manure that will enhance their growth. Be the sunshine that will make them grow. Be the rainfall that will make them sprout and blossom. Whatever happens, never be the reason someone fails in life. Do everything within your means to make someone make it. In the vineyard of the Lord, we complete each other, for we are all parts of the same body, the body of Christ. In the body of Christ, each joint supplies, as Apostle Paul wrote in the 16th verse of the 4th chapter of his letter to the Ephesians. May we complement and complete one another as we serve in the vineyard of the Lord. I want to close with the words spoken by the great Martin Luther King Jr. to a group of students at Barat Junior High School in Philadelphia on October 26, 1967, slightly over 5 months before he was assassinated. The speech is titled, "What is your life's blueprint?" He told the students what everyone should be told when they are very young. I implore you to pay attention to the words he spoke to the little boys and girls of that great school. Dr. King challenged the students to set out to be the best of whatever they were and would be. Here is what he said. When you discover what you will be in your life, set out to do it as if God Almighty called you at this particular moment in history to do it. Don't just set out to do a good job. Set out to do such a good job that the living, the dead, and the unborn could not do it any better. If it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like Laurence Price sings before the Metropolitan Opera. Sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry. Sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper who swept his job well. If you can't be a pine at the top of the hill, be a shrub in the valley. Be the best little shrub on the side of the hill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be a sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or fail. Be the best of whatever you are. This statement is one of the greatest statements ever uttered by a man in history. Look out for the full speech and go over it word by word, line by line, and paragraph by paragraph. The title of the speech is, What is Your Life's Blueprint? Look out for that speech and study it religiously. Now, what are you doing with your life? Do you do everything with all your might? Are you the best of what you are? Have you set out to be the best of whatever you will be? When you do everything with all your might, you will leave footprints that will never be erased from history. What kind of footprints do you want to leave in the world? Do you really think about the legacy you want to leave on earth? What would you want to be spoken about you at your funeral? If you could eulogize yourself at your funeral, what would you say about yourself? If you could be born after your death, what would you want to find on earth as your footprints? You can plant trees whose fruits many generations will eat, even long after you will have gone. If you do things averagely, jokingly, and superficially, your footprints will soon be erased when you go. Your great-grandchildren will surely know that there was once a man called Nelson Mandela. But they may never know that you ever existed if you don't live your life efficiently and effectively. The only way to live life effectively and efficiently is to live in God. We live in a world full of average people. Many people do things averagely. When you do things more than them by just 1%, you appear a super genius. May your life never be characterized by mediocrity, jokes, and superficiality. Never be average. Never be mediocre. Never be a joker. Life is a serious business. Always give it the seriousness it deserves. Never rob the world of the fruits you came to deliver on earth. In you lies many fruits that you are supposed to bear for humanity to enjoy both during and after your lifetime. Bear all the fruits by doing everything with all your might. Maximize your potential by ultimately exploiting your gifts, talents, and abilities, and hence fulfilling your life's purpose, which is your divine assignment on earth. At the end of your life, you will leave behind footprints that humanity will never erase. You will leave behind fruits that humanity will enjoy even long after you will have gone. I have always said the world is a stage and we are the actors. There is a show taking place on the stage. The show is called life. We are part of the show. Don't be a spectator in life when you are born to act your part in the show. Everybody has a portion on the stage. Everybody has a part to play on the show. Everybody has a position on the stage. No one can take your place on the stage. Always occupy your position on the stage and act with all your might. You don't have forever to act on the stage. The showtime is defined for everyone. Your showtime is a lifetime. You misuse your showtime at your own risk. You cannot borrow any other time. You have to maximize your showtime, which is your lifetime. Guard your life jealously as you act on the stage. Behold, without you, the show will go on. Only that if you don't act your part, no one will ever act it. For everyone has their respective parts to act. Maximize your showtime by doing everything with all your might. At the end of your showtime, you will exit the stage leaving on it footprints that no one can ever erase. We can never erase the footprints of Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Henry Dunant, and many other people who colossally transformed the world and touched the conscience of humanity. They acted their parts on the show during their lifetimes. Now it is our turn to act and make our marks on the stage. Are you acting your part with all your might? What are your marks on the stage? What footprints are you leaving on the stage? Will those who enter the stage after you ever know that you were once on the stage? Apart from your grave, what will show people who will come after you that you were once on earth? Will you do everything with all your might? Will you do with all your might whatever your hand finds to do? May you fulfill your life's purpose during your showtime on the stage. Behold, you don't have any other time apart from your showtime, which is your lifetime. Will you maximize your showtime on the stage? Will you do everything with all your might? Thank you very much.